morning and a very warm welcome to this session. We're thrilled so many of you could join us today, and we're really excited to be discussing everything that you need to know about the new official partnership with Great Run. So to start, some introductions. This morning, the Enthuse team are delighted to be joined by Nicky Homes, who's Commercial Director at Great Run Company. So Nicky, thank you so much for joining us today. And from the Enthuse team, my name's Sophie Clarke and I'm Head of Partnerships. I'm also joined by Swan-Bell, who's our Head of Customer, and Isobel Montgomery, our Senior Product Manager. During this webinar, they're going to be guiding you through some of the key topics that will help you and your charity get an understanding of how the process around the new partnership with Enthuse and Great Run Company will work for you and your fundraisers. And don't worry, we will send these slides and a copy of the webinar to you afterwards so you can refer back to it. So throughout today's session, we're going to be giving you an overview of the partnership with Great Run Events and a brief introduction to Enthuse. We'll then go on to explain in detail the user journey for the Great Run events and show you how that looks and feels. We'll also look at how your participating supporters can sign up to the events and, crucially, start fundraising for you. How you as charities can access and brand the platform and how we'll support with your onboarding. And we'll also touch on the reporting and the data that you'll have access to. Thank you to everybody who's already submitted some questions. We'll be sure to cover those throughout the webinar. And during the session, if you do have any questions, please click on the Ask a Question button below using Slido. And if you see any questions that you'd also like to know about, then you can upvote them by clicking on it. So throughout the webinar, our team will be keeping an eye on this, and we're going to be answering as many of those common questions that come up. And please make sure that you use the questions rather than the chat to make sure that we can answer those for you. We'll try to get through as many of those as possible for you today, but any that we don't get round to, we will follow up directly. To kick things off, I'm going to hand over to Nicky to talk about the partnership with Enthuse and Great Run.
Hi everybody, really happy to be here today. I'm Nicky Homes, Commercial Director at the Great Run Company. It's great to be part of this webinar and I'm really excited to be working with Enthuse as our new online fundraising partner. I just wanted to say that fundraising is an integral part of the Great Run series, and that is especially the case for our biggest event, the Great North Run. So when we were considering our options for the next 3 years, we went out and looked very carefully across the entire fundraising market. And after much consideration, we felt that Enthuse offered the best solution. And our teams have been working really hard behind the scenes over the last 6 weeks or so to ensure that all the technical elements work for all of us. What stood out, I think, with Enthuse was their passion and understanding of the charity sector and their desire to ensure that you, the charities, and us, the event brand, were put at the forefront of our runners' fundraising journey. By working with Enthuse, we can help our charity partners better integrate your brands within the participants' fundraising experience. And this, for us, was the key driver behind the partnership. Once we started the more in-depth conversations, our team have been very impressed with the enthusiasm and the agility of the Enthuse's tech team, and particularly throughout their entire organisation. So I just wanted to say from all of us at the Great Run Company, how excited we are to be working with Enthuse. And I'll hand over back now to their team to talk you through the details of how the partnership's going to work and how you can make sure you are all signed up if you aren't already. Thanks.
Thanks, Nicky. We are delighted that Great Run Company have decided to partner with Enthuse, and it's a real honour to be supporting the series, including the UK's biggest running event. We're so excited to be working with you and, of course, your charity partners. So to give you an introduction to Enthuse, some of you may be familiar with Enthuse already, either by working with us directly or through another partnership. But for those of you who don't know, Enthuse is a donations, fundraising and event registration technology provider. We've helped thousands of charities raise millions of pounds for good causes. And all of our solutions are customized under the charity's own brand and put charities in control of their data. This allows charities to build and nurture their supporter relationships, ultimately having more impact and raising more. Founded in 2012, Enthuse's mission has always been the same: to help transform digital fundraising by putting charities first so they can raise more for their cause. We strongly believe that you as a charity should have centre stage through the whole digital fundraising journey. As you've probably heard, we're bringing a bit of a different approach to Great Run Events online fundraising. And we believe that for too long, charities have been second behind the consumer platform brands. And one of the biggest problems we've seen is that consumer platforms own the supporter relationship, leading to transactional and one-off giving. And we refer to this as give and forget. And it's our mission to tackle it. We release a quarterly report called Donor Pulse, which showed that 37% of donors can't remember the name of the charity that they most recently gave to online. And that 46% stated that poor brand recall is down to the branding not being distinct enough or being overwhelmed by a giving platform's brand. It's also our mission to tackle marketing opt-ins. We found that 42% of donors are unlikely to opt into marketing communications when giving online, and that 30% stated it's because they're concerned they might receive emails from the fundraising platform itself and not the charity. Enthuse aims to finally reunite charities with their supporters, to create a seamless user journey that elevates the relationship between your charity and its supporters. We ensure that your charity's branding is placed at the forefront of all processes to ensure maximum brand recall and repeat donations for your cause. The marketing consent statement that you'll find on Enthuse is your own. So Enthuse never asks for consent for ourselves and never competes with the attention for your donors. We have a more consistent experience for supporters with just one user journey for their registration and fundraising page creation. This leads to more fundraising pages created, activated, and time spent fundraising and raising more for your cause. Because of this, we're now proud to work with over 4,000 charities across the UK and Ireland, along with a growing number of event companies. This is just a snapshot of some of the charities who already use us as their primary method for digital fundraising, but we also support some of the smallest charities, ensuring that we have the tools that can support the whole sector, which is incredibly important for us. I'll now hand over to Isobel, who will go through in some more detail the user journey for the events and for your participants.
Thanks so much, Sophie. Before I walk you through the different user journeys and platform functionality, I wanted to provide some context as to how we at Enthuse see the fundraising journey today. Having worked in the charity sector myself for more than 6 years before joining Enthuse, these are all challenges that I've seen firsthand. Firstly, we think the events industry has a lot of challenges around fundraising. Integrations between registration and fundraising haven't been what they could, typically because they've been between business to consumer platforms trying to work together when each is trying to grow its own user base. Participants have been forced to create multiple accounts for the same event, making the journey quite fragmented. The look and feel of the user experience has been clunky too, and charities are often unable to brand experiences on third-party platforms. The process of creating fundraising pages has taken too long and required too much manual work from charities. All of this, combined with the fact that we live in a mobile-first age, means that dropout has been high. However, this is where Enthuse is different. We're experts when it comes to integrated customer journeys. We launched the UK's first all-in-one fundraising and events registration solution almost 2 years ago and have continued to refine it on more than 1,000 different events since. The user journey we'll provide will leverage our decade of experience across event registration and fundraising. I'm now going to talk you through how fundraisers can create their fundraising pages for the different Great Run events. For the Great North Run General Entry Ballot, successful ballot applicants will be emailed after confirming their place, prompting them to create their fundraising pages. If the user clicks the call to action within the email, they're then taken to a charity search page hosted by Enthuse, where they can choose the charity they wish to fundraise for before continuing on to set up their page by creating an account and completing all of the relevant steps shown on screen. A similar process will also be used for general entries to the Great North Swim. For charity places, we have integrated our fundraising software with Great Run's in-house registration system. This means fundraising pages will be created automatically as part of the event registration process. As you're aware, for Great North Run charity places, you will have purchased tokens from the Great Run and shared those with successful applicants. After they've then redeemed their token, the user will be prompted to customize their fundraising page on the confirmation step. The journey for the charity user will be almost identical to the general ballot flow. However, the charity selection and account creation steps will be skipped and set automatically using the entrance information passed to us using an API. They'll continue on to set their fundraising target and other personal details such as their story and profile photo as normal. By automating fundraising page creation with a charity ballot, it means participants will be prompted to fundraise immediately, increasing activation rates, and also reduce the time spent chasing fundraisers to set up pages. And it also helps to reduce admin by automatically linking participants and fundraising pages. For all other Great Run events, we'll be providing an integration with the registration platform Let's Do This later in the month and prompting users to automatically create fundraising pages on event place confirmation. There are just two simple differences as seen on the previous slides. For charity spaces, the user will skip the charity selection screen, whereas general entrants will need to choose their charity before progressing on to create their fundraising page. At the end of any of the flows I've just talked through, the user will be left with their fully branded and personalised fundraising page, similar to the example shown. The header and footer will be branded for each event, and once you've logged in and applied your charity branding to your profile and checkouts, this will also pull through onto any fundraising pages linked to your charity. We know that fundraising pages that are fully branded to the cause will drive more brand recall and again help with that give and forget problem that Sophie touched on a little earlier. Donate to self prompts encourages fundraisers to get the ball rolling and helps them reach their targets. Fundraising milestones and event completion badges drive engagement and further support. Fundraisers can also upload videos, photos, and live streaming for increased supporter engagement. The fundraiser can customize their profile photo, story section, and background photo before sharing with friends and family to start bringing in those all-important donations. As and when they wish to, the fundraiser can also share regular updates to their page and keep loved ones informed on how their fundraising or training is going. Their fundraising totalizer will show how close to their target they are, as well as total funds raised and how many donors. Finally, our competitive leaderboards also feature top fundraisers for a cause. I'm now going to pass on to Will to talk you through the onboarding process.
Thank you, Isobel. Another fantastic partnership, and we are all really excited to support even more charities and fundraisers. Now I'll walk you through the simple steps to get set up on the platform so you can start receiving donations. Your charity administrators will be invited to join the Enthuse platform over the coming days if they're not already on the system. Once they receive the invite, you will have 7 days to activate your account by clicking through the invite. Once you have clicked through, you'll be asked to create a password and set up two-factor authentication, which is an important security measure to safeguard your data. Once you have logged in, we recommend that you first head over to the verification center. This is where you will upload your bank details so that we can pay out your funds. Once in the verification center, simply add in the desired bank details, and then to fully verify your account, upload a bank statement, which must include the bank logo, be dated within the last 3 months, be in the name of your registered legal entity and include the address of your registered legal entity, and also have the sort code and account number that you would have already entered above. Finally, please read and accept the terms and conditions, which you can see at the bottom of this page. By default, our payouts are monthly, and we aim to have the funds in your account around the 20th of each month. We do offer a free upgrade to weekly payouts, which is open to all charities, but this does require additional verification information, which will be shared once you're on board. We recommend that all charities, new or existing, follow these 4 steps. So first of all, make sure that you can access the Enthuse back office. If not, you can request a password reset on the login page, or if you're still having issues, please email our team on support@enthuse.com. Number 2, make sure that those account details are correct, which is on the same page that we've just shown the verification center. Number 3, make sure that your charity name and registration number are all correct, which is found in the My Details section on the top navigation. And then lastly, the branding. So making sure that your logos, colors, the details that you would like to have on your charity profile, and also your checkout configuration are all as you want. So I'm going to go through the branding process in a little bit more detail now. For branding, as we know, this is a critical item to reduce the give and forget. All charities can now customize their branding for the specific event within the back office by following these steps. On the top navigation, you'll see a section called Manage, and within there, there'll be an option for connected platforms. If you click through onto that page, you will then see all of the connected platforms to your charity account. To edit the profile page or the checkout for any of those connected platforms, simply click the relevant button. So we're going to start with the charity profile page. Once you click through, you'll be then shown a template version of the profile page, which then gives you the options to customize various sections. So you'll be able to put in a custom cover photo, you'll be able to change the page title, and also complete the About Us section, which can include photos, videos, and rich text content. This page will be specific to the individual event. So this means that you can customize it specifically for each event, giving you a lot of different options for how you want to tailor it. This will mean, though, that if you did want to have the same experience and the same information on each of those, that you would have to go through and apply that to each of those events. At the top right of the page, you'll also see a button that says View Your Profile Page. This will take you through to the live view of the page, and this will also then give you the link that you can share with your supporters and your fundraisers. This is the link that you would then look to integrate onto the website or share via social. You can also customize the specific checkout for each connected platform as well. So to do that, you would go back to the Connected Platforms tab within Manage of the top navigation and then select Edit Checkout. This will take you to a guided 5-step process to customize the checkout. There are a number of customization options which you can see on the screen. I won't go through each of them at this moment in time, but the key ones are the ability to define a unique reference code for the connected platform for each checkout, which will make reconciliation easier. The ability to define and customize the suggested donation amounts for each of the events, and also the ability to customize a thank you email for each of those events. On the final step of the checkout process, there is a preview, but there's also then the link so you can see the checkout live, which we recommend you going to do. Our team is here to support you, your fundraisers, and your donors. We have a dedicated collection of support articles in our help center, and we also have some dedicated email addresses for you to use. For onboarding and bank verification questions, please email onboarding@enthuse.com. For branding questions, please email branding@enthuse.com. We will also have dedicated inboxes and phone lines for each of the events, which will be shared with your teams and fundraisers. This will allow us to answer your queries in the most efficient way. So as an example, for the Great North Run, as you can see on screen. Now I'm going to talk you through some of the data and integration key points, which I know is critically important. All reports are available in a single secure back office for all of your Great Run events, as well as all of your existing Enthuse activity and any other connected platforms. As a charity admin, you will have access to all of the important data on your fundraisers and donors, which is displayed in real time. And you can download a variety of reports for donors, fundraisers, marketing consent, and also gift aid. So gift aid is an area that Enthuse can support you with. We can submit this on your behalf so that the payment will be received to you from HMRC directly. So that is an automated process which will be available to all charities. To run through some of the reports in more detail, I'm going to look at the donations payment report. So there's a variety of filtering options which allows you to narrow in on the payments that you're really most interested in. These can then be exported simply by using the export button on the right hand side. This view also provides a lot of the key information which will help you understand and triage any support queries that you may have. So for example, there's visibility of the event that they're connected with. So in this example, the Great North Run. And then you've also got their marketing permissions also visible, but all of that information is included in the export. We also have a dedicated report for recurring donation schedules, which has a similar structure and format and functionality. We also have a dedicated supporters report, which allows you to view a summary of your donors and fundraisers. Each supporter has a unique reference, which allows you to connect the data from all of the different reports within Enthuse. What this also shows you is a lifetime summary of their donation and fundraising history, which is really useful for planning communications. And again, all of this is easily exportable. Now on for integrating your data. As we've shown, there is a variety of exports available on demand securely through the Enthuse back office. Each checkout will also have a unique reference code, which can be added for each event to make reconciliation easier. But also, there are up to 4 custom codes that can be applied for each payment, recurring donation, supporter, or fundraising page, again, to make the reconciliation easier. We will be offering direct integrations later this year for Salesforce, Donify, and Beacon, as well as a public API to allow you to integrate directly with a wide array of platforms. So to summarize, there's a rich amount of data already available for you to access within the Enthuse back office and download it as you need. There's custom codes and reference codes which can be added to make reconciliation easier. And direct integrations will be available later this year for selected CRMs with a wider range available through a public API. Now back over to Sophie to cover pricing.
Thanks, Will. So to cover pricing, so you'll be pleased to hear there are no setup costs or subscription costs for you to use the platform for all events organised by the Great Run Company. We offer a transparent and honest approach to pricing by always including the full cost in our headline message. This means that the charities know from the very start how much of each donation will land in their bank account, including gift aid. This is the net donation amount, and it's the true measure of the overall cost for digital fundraising. As part of this partnership, we'll be offering the widely used tipping model for all donations. And this means that there's no platform fee for you as a charity, and we simply offer the donor the opportunity to leave a voluntary gift on their donation. To give you an example of how this looks, for every £50 donated with gift aid, you'll receive £60.73, which is 121.5% of the donated amount. For every £50 donated without gift aid, the charity will receive £48.85, or 97.7% of the donation. We believe that this net donation amount is a more transparent way to communicate the total amount that you'll receive, rather than making an isolated statement that the platform has 0% fees. So this concludes the content that we've got prepared for you today. I hope that's covered lots of your initial questions. Thank you to everybody who's posted some questions throughout Slido, and we're going to run through those with you now. So firstly, we did have some questions sent prior to the webinar asking about some custom codes. And I've also seen some questions about the logins as well. So I'm going to hand over to Will to talk through those for you in detail now.
Hello. So for custom codes, there's up to 4 custom codes that can be applied to a variety of sections within the back office. So for fundraising pages, you'll have the ability to add up to 4 custom codes. So you can define what you wish the heading for the code to be, which will then be included in the exports. And then for the individual fundraising pages, or for a collection of fundraising pages, you can then assign those codes. You then also have up to 4 custom codes for the donation payments, the recurring donation schedules, and also for the supporters. So there's a lot of flexibility there with up to 16 unique codes in total. As I mentioned earlier, in any of the CSV exports that you get through the platform, these codes would be applied to all of the related elements. So if a code is applied to a fundraising page, any donation that is received to that fundraising page would have those custom codes visible. And the same is for the other elements. And for logins, so we can add multiple logins to the platform. At the moment, those will need to be requested from our team through the support channels, but we are working on a release to give you more flexibility to do that yourself directly in the platform. We don't recommend that shared email addresses are used because we do require 2-factor authentication, as mentioned earlier in the platform. So if you did use a shared email address, it would have to be linked to a specific phone, which then becomes problematic if you're using a shared email address. But we can absolutely set up unique user accounts for each member of your team that would need access.
Thanks, Will. Let's wait for everybody else to come back in. Excellent. So thank you so much for all of your questions throughout. Some really interesting ones and some great points there. So Isobel, I'm going to aim the first question to you. Can we set up Enthuse team pages on Great North Run? And can runners link this from their individual page as well?
No worries. Thank you, Sophie. So this is a capability that we have within the platform itself at the moment. It's not currently enabled within the Great North Run event, but it is something that we can look at doing if that's something that is required of us. It might be one for the Great Run company as well, just to chip in on how best they want to handle team pages as well.
Excellent, thank you. And we've also had a question about splitting charities. So can you set up pages where the fundraising can be split between different charities, like VMG used to? So Will, are you able to answer that one for me?
Yep, sure. So at the moment, a fundraiser would need to decide on a specific charity that they would like to fundraise for, and then any donations that are received to that fundraiser would go directly to that particular charity. So at the moment, it is a one-to-one relationship with the fundraiser and the charity.
Excellent, thank you. And Will, I think this one will be another one for you as well. We've had a couple of questions around when they'll receive their login to the Enthuse back office. So by what date should we receive these?
Yeah, absolutely. So our team are going to be working through the new charity administrators over the next few days. So some of you will receive them this afternoon, some tomorrow, and potentially some early next week. But within the next few working days, you should have access if you don't already have so. If you are already on the Enthuse system, if you have an account with us for any of the other products that we have or any of the other partnerships that we have, then the Great North Run event will be visible within the connected platforms tab. If not, and you would like to be included, then again, please reach out to our support team and we can get that added. But that should all be visible for you now.
Excellent, thank you. And that follows on nicely to one of the other questions we had, which was we currently use Enthuse for direct donations, and will there be an opportunity to be able to view those? So yeah, hopefully Will's answered that question as well. That will all be accessed for you in the one back office. So there's been a couple of questions here as well, which have been upvoted around the entrants actually redeeming their tickets as well. So the first one, if the entrants have already redeemed their tokens, will they receive a second email to set up their page? And at what point is the automated email page live? So Isobel, I think that might be a question for you if you're able to.
Yeah, no worries, of course. So yeah, anyone that has already redeemed their token, they will be receiving emails for them to claim their charity places, and our integration will be live very shortly, so we can let you know when that is available, coming very, very soon, and that's where that automation will exist. So when somebody does go through and claim their place within the console, then they will then have a page created for them automatically.
Excellent, thank you. And then a follow-up question to that as well. So we already have over 50% of our Great North Run team registered on the Great Run console. Will they be contacted to set up the Enthuse page? So are you just able to clarify that as well for us, Isobel?
Yes, again, so we can obviously send secondary comms out to those participants if they haven't already received it, just flagging that they can create their fundraising page with Enthuse.
Excellent, thank you. So Will, I think this is a question for you as well around the branding of those pages. So we've been asked, can we brand up as a charity rather than at event level? So with the lots of the events, are they able to brand them at charity level as well as event level?
So for charities who are already on the system, their profile pages should have inherited any profile content that they already had defined. So they've got a base level branding. For new charities to the platform, there's obviously nothing for us to refer back to or link through. So that will have to be populated for each of the events. If you are finding that you would like to have the same content across all of the events, it's really good for us to hear that feedback. We have gone with the approach that people would want flexibility between the events to tailor the messaging, to tailor the imagery. And also, if you are struggling to apply the same branding across all of the events, then please do reach out to our team. We're more than happy to help translate that branding across to all of the individual events.
Brilliant, thanks, Will. And we've had a few questions which are fairly similar. So what happens with runners who have already set up a fundraising page with another platform? So Will, are you able to answer that one for us as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, our aim is to provide a really compelling experience for donors and for fundraisers. So we hope more and more people will want to use the solution that we're putting forward. But obviously, everyone has the right to choose which platform, which system they would like to use. So when they go through the registration process and have a page automatically created, they can close it if they wish, and if they don't want to use it. That can be done by charity administrators, or it can be done by our team. So if they contact us, we can close that page, and if they just simply don't want to use it, then they don't have to. But everyone has the right to flexibility. But yeah, we hope that the solution that we've put forward will be beneficial for everyone and really help drive engagement and donations through a more branded platform.
Excellent, thank you. And that also answers my follow-up question, which was what will happen to the page if we don't want people to set up and they've got that page already with Just Giving. So thanks for answering that as well. Excellent. So Isobel, one for you here. Can our fundraisers link Strava to the platform?
Yes, they can. So we already have an integration with Strava built into fundraising pages, so they can, of course, connect that and upload any activity that they are doing in preparation for their event and have that uploaded onto their profile and share that with their family and friends that are supporting them.
Brilliant, thank you. And Will, another question for you. In addition to these slides, will you be releasing full written instructions on the next what the next steps to take?
Yes, absolutely. So within our support centre, there's the dedicated section for the Great Run events, which is live now. There's a lengthy page that has FAQs for you to reference and go through. So I'd recommend having a look to see if any additional questions are covered off by that content. But there's also going to be a series of specific articles to cover these use cases, like the branding application, checkout customization, also what should happen if a fundraiser wants to close their page, for example. We also have a wealth of other support content already available in the help center around things like our reporting, our integrations, and also donor and supporter queries as well. So if people do have questions about Strava, there's a whole series of articles about that, which we'd recommend reviewing and becoming familiar with. So yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant, thank you. And we've also had a question here: are we expected to pay a monthly cost for Enthuse? And if not, is there an end date when we won't be able to use the platform? So I'll be able to answer that one for you. So there is no subscription or setup cost to be able to use the platform for any of the Great Run series of events. That will be, there's no particular end date for us to be able to use those. So you'll still be able to have access to those throughout the entire partnership for all of those Great Run series events and Enthuse. We've also had another question. For those who are choosing a charity, how do Enthuse choose which charities are shown? So as they're going through the registration process. So Isobel, are you able to answer that one for us?
Yeah, of course. So as part of the partnership, there are obviously diamond and platinum charities for the Great Run series, and those will be displayed at the front of the search, and then all other charities will appear in alphabetical order after that. So if you have chosen to be a diamond or platinum charity, then you should see yourselves referenced at the very beginning of that charity search as well.
Excellent, thank you. Will, one here on reporting. So would we be able to obtain copies of the reports available for registrations or fundraisers? What data fields might be included in those reports?
So the registrations data won't sit within the Enthuse platform. That sits with the Great Run registration platform, but there should be no changes in what was already provided there. The fundraisers that go on to create a fundraising page, there will be specific reports available. There is a support article in the Help Centre already, which covers what is included in that particular report. And once you have access, you'll be able to see that report yourself as well in the back office.
Excellent, fantastic, thank you. And just following on from that, again, looking at the reporting. So when exporting donations, how do you find out what the fundraising page they're donated to? So you'll be able to see that with the export?
Yes, absolutely. So there's two columns included in the export, which is for the page ID of the fundraising page that they've been donated to, and there's also the URL of the fundraising page that they've donated to. So two really good data points that can then be linked with that fundraising export that I just mentioned before, if you wanted to have more details. But also there are those custom codes. So if you've gone through and you've added custom codes to your fundraisers, up to 4 additional custom codes would also be included in that export. So you would have up to 6, so 2 data points always there, and up to 6 data points available depending on usage of those custom codes.
Excellent, thank you. Sorry, Will, I've got a few more questions coming in for you here today. So we've had a couple just around either account managers or do you have help support staff that you can speak to rather than email?
Yes, absolutely. So you can get in contact with our team through the chat function on the platform and on the website, through email, and we also have phone numbers. So as I mentioned in the presentation, there will be a dedicated phone line for each event, which will help us query faster the request that's coming in. So we do recommend that for your comms or for queries, ringing the relevant line, because it means that we can then find the most relevant data as quickly as possible. But absolutely, we have phone lines available on our website and in the support centre, and that's definitely something that we advocate for as well, to get a response.
Brilliant, thank you. So just going through the final questions here, there's, Will, again, a few more for you. So we've had a few questions around the integrations with the CRM. So do we have a complete list available of the ones that we are planning to integrate with?
Yes, so the complete list was that shown on the slide earlier. So Salesforce, Donify and Beacon are the initial set. As mentioned, the public API would allow anybody to integrate with a wider array of CRMs or other platforms, with also an applicable API to connect those two things together. There will be more integrations coming further down the line, but as an initial set of ones that we're working through and making available, it would be Salesforce, Donify and Beacon. Fantastic, thank you.
And then a final couple of questions on the fees for the donations. So just to clarify what those fees are. So with the tipping model that we'll be using, which is a very widely used tipping model, there are no platform fees. There is a 1.9% payment provider fee. And there's also a 5% admin fee just on the gift aid collection as well. So that is only applicable on the amount of the gift aid which we're able to claim for you. Excellent. So another couple of, I'll just wrap up with some of the final questions. So Will, I'm going to aim this one at you. So can we use Enthuse for other fundraising, not just Great North Run?
So if you're coming on board as part of any of the partnerships, the platform will have the functionality only for those particular events. If you did want to do your own fundraising, then I recommend reaching out to our team and speaking to our team about the other products that we have available. We do have fundraising packages and fundraising and events packages. There are different costs associated with those, but there's a lot of additional functionality and flexibility that you could open up. It would be included in the same back office if you did want to go down that route. So that should hopefully help in terms of management. But yeah, for these two particular partnerships, it would be for this partnership, it would be for these particular events.
That's brilliant, thank you. And you've actually covered off a couple of the other questions that I was looking at there as well, which is, can participants take part in any of these events or only use events for those? So I'm going to wrap up with one final question. Again, following from that note that you've just spoken about, Will, do we have many using Enthuse for in-memory donations and collections as well?
Yes, we do offer in-memory products and in-memory pages. That is slightly different, again, to the fundraising pages for the Great Run series of events. These fundraising pages are set up in a format to deal with those particular events, but we do have dedicated pages and platform to cope with in memory. It doesn't mean that fundraisers can't fundraise in memory for the Great Run events. They have the flexibility to put in their story for why they're fundraising and explain. And also people, when they donate, also have the option to add a message, or if they're donating in memory of someone as well, they have the flexibility to add that message in and reason for why they're donating or fundraising.
Fantastic, thank you. So I think we've got time for one more question before we wrap up. And there's one that looks like it's had quite a few upvotes. So the question's around small charities who don't have the kind of budget needed for a platinum partner. Are we able to offer a level playing field for all of those charities to be visible? Would anybody like to answer that one for us?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. So with the search function, it's intended so that when people do search for a charity, the list of relevant charities then refines. So everyone does have a level playing field. Obviously, from the initial search perspective, there's limited real estate there for us to show. So we want to show as many charities as possible. But the search function is fully there so that people can put in the specific charity that they have in mind, and that list will refine. So when people search, they will get a subset of charities listed in alphabetical order. We thought that was the fairest way to do it. And we show as many charities on screen as we can possibly fit.
That's brilliant. Thank you. So I think we've been able to manage to cover off the majority of those questions. For any that we haven't been able to, as I said, we'll be able to follow up with you directly. So hopefully that's been really valuable for you all. So thank you so much for joining us. So as Will mentioned, you're now ready to go and expect your logins, if you haven't had them already, very soon. If you do have any further questions at all, you can email us at onboarding@enthuse.com or get in touch to book a call to actually speak with us through the website. So thank you once again for joining. Thanks everybody from the Enthuse and Great Run company for joining this morning. Hope you're all as excited as we are for this partnership.